again. Here we are in Photoshop one more time, and we're going to learn about brushes this time. So let's make a new canvas. You can do it any size you want, but just for here, 640 by 480 is a good size. Fits on my screen well. Choose that, click OK. Okay, there we go. And just move it to the center of the screen. Just what I'm comfortable with. And we're going to make a new layer by clicking here. Once we do that, we can rename it whatever we want, just like in the last tutorial. And then we click our good old brush tool right here. Now you've definitely used the brush tool before, I'm sure. You take the foreground color, that's what you're going to be painting with, and just change the size by using that slider there. And we can just paint with the foreground color, which is black, just like that. You can color it in. If you're using this one that has the fuzzy edges, you have to sort of paint like that. You can't use the fill tool because it will look funny. Alright, you can hide these layers, that's why we do that, in case we need to redo something or get something back. So click this little down arrow on the brushes up top there, click this little over arrow, and down at the bottom you'll see different brush presets that you can use. They come with Photoshop. Some of them are pretty cool. I don't really use them too much, but we want to go to load brush. And I've put a couple on my desktop just as an example. A couple with trees. This first one's Misty Forest. That one's trees. And whenever you load them like that, they appear at the bottom. This one has a few in it. And they'll just stay there forever basically unless you get rid of them. See? And then you just click once and it does that. Now when people make them, they make them really big, so we usually want to slide it down. That's too small. Still too small. Alright, so we could paint one there, and there we go. And we can choose a different one. Again, since we haven't used it before, it's really big, but we can use the top of it. Anyway, just to start over, we're going to do a little picture, so delete that layer. And we're just going to paint a couple on here. We'll just try a few different ones just to see what it looks like. Alright, that one's a little smaller. There. And we'll choose one more. Just put that as a base, right like that. Okay, we're going to create another layer. And we're just going to rename that. You can call it anything you want, it's just for organization basically. And this time we're going to go to the over arrow, load brushes one more time. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Load brushes, and we're going to use the other one, which is just regular trees, and again they appear on the bottom. And still just like before, we're painting with the foreground color. We'll do a little color over it in just a moment. Yikes, way too big, so undo that and make it just the right size. We'll put a tree there, and this is in a layer on top of the previous one, remember. And let's see. Okay, another kind of warped tree. And let's see. Just one more tree like that. So now Let's just go in here and maybe we'll add a little color to this because it's kind of gloomy. So I'm picking the grass tool, and I think I'm going to try and get a sort of greenish color. Now we were just single clicking to put those on before, but you can drag with these too. I'll make this a little bigger. And when you drag with them, it just repeats them. So let's add a little greenish grass line here. That's in the closest layer. Just rubbing it over here. Make a little hill. Yep. So we've got that layer there. A little more color. Looks a little better, not so depressing. Now these up here, the opacity, you can see when we do that, makes it sort of see-through. And we've also got, alright, let's make another layer here and behind. And just make some slightly larger but more transparent grass, so we can get a difference in the background. And this is the flow tool. Basically think of it as how much paint's coming out when we use the brush. Okay, so we'll make another layer here. We'll just give that some kind of name. Again, doesn't really matter, it's all your preference. And I'll do a little blue in the background for the sky here, sort of a foggy thing. And you'll notice that we had the opacity and the flow really low, so we're still going to be able to see right through it. So we've still got our background trees, and we're just going to have sort of a bluish kind of sky. Just paint on there. And this is just a regular brush tool, the round one. We don't use the hard edge one because, well, it's got a hard edge. It doesn't look good most of the time. It's got its uses though. I'll do a little yellow sun, and just for fun, we'll do filter, render, lens flare. Everyone's old favorite, the lens flare. Put it right over top of the sun. Makes it look more realistic. And there we go. Basically, we have our little artsy project in just a matter of seconds, all with the brush tool. There you go.